Although here is at work for me.
Whatever. Recording at the same time.
We're all here.
Yes.
And yeah, that's great. So we're everyone. Racers, welcome to a Stirling Moss episode of our podcast. We are recording on October 19th. And on this day in 1958, Sir Stirling Moss won the season-ending Moroccan Grand Prix. However, fellow Brit Mike Hawthorne would win the World Drivers' Championship by just 1 point by finishing second, not driving your Van Wall VW5 to a fastest lap at a podium. Grab your E1R bingo card. Never know if you're going to win.
Van Wall?
Kind of hard, amazingly.
Wow. Is that what it was called?
Wikipedia that.
Ah.
Yeah.
It looks exactly like the car from the movie Grand Prix when the British driver is trying to get back into a racing car. Old school, front engined, long phallus tube, no arrow.
Cool. Okay, let's move on. What you working on? Mental. What you doing?
Wait, you skipped Chris.
I did, because it's weird when I ask Chris what he's doing.
That's fair. All right.
Just play along with me. I asked you what you were doing.
I actually started on Friday and I have reduced my non-functional vehicle count. Now, when I typed this out, it was true, but it is no longer true. I reduced my non-functional vehicle count by 2. I sold my 86 Volvo wagon to a very enthusiastic man who drove all the way down from Salt Lake City to tow it home. And then I got one of my motorcycles running and spent the weekend and then even the first couple of days this week shaking it down. Rode it to work yesterday, came out and after work and no, not at all. So I think I've narrowed it down to an electrical problem. We're going to go check it out tonight. And if it is not an electrical problem, basically the magneto is not charging the battery for one reason or another, or basically if it doesn't start, then it is an internal, probably a stacked bearing. And it's just going to get chopped up and thrown away.
What kind of motorcycle is this one?
This is the V-Star, the Yamaha V-Star. I am the 3rd and 6th owner of that. I turned into a bobber. I actually did put mufflers on it though. So it's not quiet, but it's not nearly as obnoxious.
So you sold one, fixed one.
Yes.
You didn't actually reduce the number of vehicles.
Reduce the number of non-functional vehicles.
Not functional vehicles. Yeah. But then it broke. So then I gotcha. That's good. That's good. I applaud the effort.
It's still one fewer.
Yeah.
And one fewer that takes up room, and it moved along. Someone's very happy to have it. So that's much better than sitting in storage.
All of the above.
And
or in some parking lot.
Is this the wagon that your brother gave you like 10 years ago, or is that a different wagon?
No, it's the same one.
Same one. Okay.
I wasn't going to get around to it. We drove when we first got here and I threw it up on Facebook Marketplace and I said, here, buy it. Or you know what? Just tell me a good story. And this guy, he is an immigrant from Nigeria. He works for Amazon in their transportation services. And he had been looking for a Volvo for years. And either they wanted too much or they were hopeless. And I bought the gasket set because I do think it's a head gasket on there. And he gave me a really good story. And initially he lives just outside of Salt Lake, was going to drive down in a U-Haul and a trailer. And I said, don't rent a U-Haul. They'll charge you by the mile and the car's not worth that. Go to Enterprise and rent one of their trucks and then go rent the U-Haul car hauler. And he did. Oh man, thank you. Thank you so much. And he got down here and he put $200 in my hand. I handed him $100 back and he actually started to cry.
What you should have done was said, just come with a truck. Because I got a trailer.
I was going to say this. I was literally going to say this.
I don't know how to get the Omega off yet. So that problem has not been worked out.
And I'm the king of jank. That's all I'm saying.
You're the Earl of Jankerton.
Exactly. I don't care about the trailer. I do care about the Omega.
I understand.
I think you're going to have to get a flatbed driver to back the flatbed up to the moon trailer, winch the Omega off, drive away and just put it back down.
Or an open car trailer that a friend has. I think that would.
Well, that's how they got it on, but it also involved a series of janky ramps and jacks and blocks and hopes and dreams.
Why are we stopping the
that
jank?
that would be easier this time because it would be rolling off. They've got like one of those concrete ramps on base. I don't know if I could back up to it or not. And then they actually also have an auto lift, and I could just back this trailer in there and get it up on an auto lift. And then the trick is
That sounds like it.
I don't have.
But then how do you
anything
get it
that'll-
home from the base? That's the
Tow
problem.
it.
Oh no, this is
No,
on
he doesn't have anything to tow it with.
all that is on that. I don't have anything that tows right now. So
Oh.
but ideally soon, in accordance with our plans, the RV will be getting new tires, and maybe I could tow it with the RV just to, get this ball rolling.
I forgot that
Mhm.
Vicky got rid of the tow rag or whatever it was.
I didn't tow either.
Oh, the Touareg was never gonna move.
It was a
that.
Tiguan. Come on.
Tiguan, thank
yeah,
you.
exactly.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, well.
Whatever.
Since we skipped Chris, what you working on?
I actually been working on cars too. The
Yay.
Corvette, since it came back from the rally, after that kind of trip, it needed some love, as we've talked about. So I said, all right, well, it's probably this fuel pump. That's what I'm guessing. And so I took, I let the car run down to a quarter tank of gas, took the whole assembly with the pickup and the pump and the level center and all that stuff out. Everything looked okay. There was some crud in the tank, I think, that had just continued to wash out of the corners in the last 2,000 miles. So I siphoned it all back down, drained it all back out to nothing, wiped the bottom out again to get all the residual stuff out, took the gas that I'd pulled out and poured it through a paint funnel, or the strainers, the little very fine strainers you use for paint before you spray it. So got all the crap out of that. New pump, new pickup, screen, put it all back together. Seems to run great. I've driven it to work and back, driven around the block. I haven't driven a long trip with it because I don't really have a chance, but that's the only time it did the weird things. But I don't know. Like, sure, it runs wonderfully now. It drives great. Okay.
On that note, I was working with the Dur Fascination crew, and actually we did a special episode of Bid Nerds and talking with that crew, and they agree that car should be bring a trailer worthy, especially with those low miles and the story behind it.
I'll try it. Why not?
Bring a trailer probably won't agree, but
Yeah.
All you can
I'll
do is
try it.
ask and
Well, and
accept.
then we can start that webpage we were talking about. Bring it bat rejected.
Sure.
Yep. Well, then let's see what else. I do have an appointment to have it detailed in 2 weeks, so that'll be good. Then I can take the pictures and move it along. Also, I just put a better wire to bypass the clutch safety switch because I got a multimeter in the clutch safety switch. It's definitely the switch. I'm not fixing it. I'm not climbing up under there and putting a new clutch safety switch in this car. No one cares. So I put a much thicker wire on that. Fine, shoved it back up in there. What else did I do? Oh yeah, fixed the passenger door lock and window and all that stuff. So the window now actually goes all the way down and all the way up. The door locks work, all that stuff works. Drove the car to work. It drives the best it's ever driven. So yeah. Okay. I mean, it's not perfect, but okay.
Okay, so I listened to the show, and nobody asked the important question, because sometimes you go on these road trips and you fall in love with the vehicle, and sometimes you absolutely hate them, a la Connie, where you just want to kill it by fire. Like my Miata.
I don't think
Connie,
we needed. I don't think
1
we
to
needed
10,
to-
where you
I don't
at?
think we needed to ask that question.
Oh, I
I'm
know
right-
the number is going to be terrible, but like
No,
the Miata,
I'm right
it
exactly
seems-
where it was when I left. I'm right in the middle. The car, it's fine. It's a decent example of this car. I don't particularly like this car.
Yes.
It's funny, but the road trip didn't endear it to me or make me hate it more. Like it broke just the right amount for me to say, yeah, okay, that's about right, but
Okay,
not too
straight up
much for me
five.
to want to let it on fire. So yeah, it's like, okay, it served its purpose. Paul had a great time. It was a fun rally. Now it can move along.
Got it. Great.
Okay.
And
But
Paul
if
doesn't
you
want
are-
it.
Yeah,
guys.
if you are a
So he-
Corvette,
Hold on.
Ooh.
Paul talked about, like, maybe I should buy you out of this, and then we talked about how this really does not fit your lifestyle. You don't really have a place to put it. You're not going to drive it regularly.
Yeah.
You're not a tinkerer. You don't have any tools. Like, and he's like, yeah, okay, you're right. So,
Probably could afford a better one if he really wants one.
yeah, well, absolutely. But this one, this
This is
exact
nostalgia. I understand.
car,
Yeah.
and it has been completely out of, completely immobile and unusable for so many years. But now, like, it actually drove us around for 2,000 miles. Like, okay, not that bad, but yeah, realistically, it doesn't fit his life. Also been working on theming the Mazda. We have a fairly elaborate decoration theme for the car this time. And it's taken me quite a long time to learn how to use the vinyl cutting software, not just to write, like it's one thing just to write some text and do that. Okay, fine. That's easy. Basic shapes, take pictures. Okay, fine. When you are making completely custom designs, just drawing them on lines, that takes an incredible amount of time to do and to do well. And so I've got all the vinyl cut now, and I started to apply some of it to the car. And this is a large format, 3-layer multi-piece, like many piece thing.
That's aggressive.
It is. And of course the vinyl we have is just, it's not made for doing that kind of thing. So, like trying to drape most of a fender with this stuff, it doesn't look very particularly good, but the colors go there. It'll work well enough. So I have most of the first layer, the main base layer of color on, everything's cut. The hood is done. The windows are done. So I'm working on the bigger stuff now, but it has been quite a lot of work to get this done.
I appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's because I want.
Would have been easier to paint it. Chrissy said no.
I mean, you didn't really ask me. I didn't really tell you. So there's that.
I knew what the answer was, so I didn't have to ask.
It would have been easier to paint it, but one of the joys of that car is that it is such a cool blank slate.
Yeah. Thank you. It'll be great. I'm looking forward to it. Jeff,
I'm excited. I want to see pictures.
They can't. Okay. Unveiling at the track. See you Thursday.
See you Thursday. Did
Jeff,
you ask me to go? Okay, yes.
I did.
So I remember I start like 4 weeks ago. I don't remember how it is. I started the Corvette radio install and I had the wrong parts. Well, I finally got to get back out to the car, and I failed so miserably to update the Corvette C6 radio. Just to refresh the listener's memory, this is an 07, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, 07?
Probably not good that
it's
you
a C6.
say the name of the year of the car as a question.
Yeah, it's a C6, whatever.
I don't think he's
really
ever
matter.
remembered a.
No, I don't remember. Because it's either the year, it's like a year older than my son, so I think it's in 7. But anyway, I tried to put in a I'm sorry, mental's making me laugh.
I want to ask you how old your son is.
I was 14.
You'll answer that as a question.
No, 14. But anyway, so I tried to put in the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay radio, and everything is working. But GM is just so stupid that it doesn't work. I did everything right. I got the crutch field like it's this thick, tells you how to do everything. I did everything right. Every screw, every solder joint is perfect. And every time I plug it in, it pops the radio fuse. Second I plug in the radio, pops the fuse. Cut a wire, pops the fuse. Cut a different wire, pops the fuse. Like the only 2 wires left are the power and the ground, and it's popping the fuse. So it's not the weird diversity thing that goes to the antenna. It's not the thing that makes the chimes work, because I've removed all of that out of the system. F it. I put the old radio back in. I'm done. I'll figure it out later.
Well, call Crutchfield and say, there's something wrong with this radio.
I plan on it, but I had to put the car back together. I couldn't.
But before the warranty on the parts goes away,
the warranty on the parts is so old. I bought this like a year ago. I bought this during COVID. So anyway, that's it. I have other things to talk about. So
does the old radio work?
Oh yeah, no. The only thing that doesn't work is you can't change channels on the radio. But what we really wanted and why I did this was because we wanted a rear view camera. Like it's hard to see out the back. You have to like lift your ass out of the seat to turn around. We wanted a rear view camera, and that's why it was going in. But anyway, let's talk RX-7. So thanks Uncle Dave for turning me on to a guy who is parting something out. I now have a power steering rack. I got a driver's side window, did a great deal on it. Installed the driver's side window so we won't have a swimming pool anymore, and got out there and looked at the rack and did a bunch of measuring and really, putting a plan together, because I have the 2 motors next to each other so I can measure everything. And I've come to the conclusion that we really need to move the cooling system. It is not going to fit in any other way. So it has, I wouldn't say increased the complexity, because I think we really have most of that, but it's an extra step. So next thing that'll be doing is getting the power steering rack in and removing the cooling system. For those of you who don't know, NFC has RX-7 has kind of the slanted radiator, and it's just not going to fit with the LS. The bottom is just going to totally hit. So
put the radiator in the trunk.
No, I just made to move it forward and make it straight up and down. I've looked at a bunch of pictures online, and pretty much everybody who LS swaps has it straight up and down. So we'll just move it.
And I hate to bring out the sausage. Is anyone else getting an echo when not Jeff is talking?
I was getting it when you were talking.
I'm getting when you're talking as well.
Yeah, I'm getting it from you two and from myself. I don't know if it's me or if it's.
It seems to have gone away for me now.
All right, never mind. All right.
Okay,
cool.
keep talking. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. No,
I'll just say real quick here, Chris, you know, we measured the transmission. The transmission length from the bell housing to the shifter, identical, both transmissions. The problem is that the motor is like 19 inches longer. So that's it's not 19.
Yeah, we're probably going to try to shove. Well, we're going to shove the motor back as far as we can.
You should shove it.
We will. So actually that thing you showed me to move the shifter forward like 3 inches.
I don't know that anybody actually cares about this.
I think if we did that, that would be just about right.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm already shopping for it. Anyway, Chrissy, what you doing?
Oh, good. Thank you. I didn't care about this. Okay. I did some housework. I finished painting the trim, which was great. We finished that all up. So the front of our house looks nice and fresh and lovely. It's worked on cars. Yes.